So a beautiful spot to have a stopover and see the bike for what it is. Now completely finished, of course. So welcome to another video here at Back to Classics. As you can see, we're on board the 1979 900 replica after it being completely restored. Now, fully functioning, adjusted, everything done. So in this video we like to show you how we go about the final stages of the restoration. And we'll also have it photographed with our trusted photographer and Skip, as you can see later, and have a go on this beautiful restored bike. So, hope you like this video. So, we're making some good progress here with the replica rebuild, the Mike Hailwood Replica 900, first series 1979. As you can see, we fitted the front brake system completely. Very nice gold line Brembo calipers, and we have bled the system. One issue perhaps is that we cannot get the front tire right now, which is why we temporarily fitted the old Speedline wheel with the original Pirelli Phantom tires. And as you can see here, the Campagnolo front wheel is awaiting its front tire. So, but at least let's just get on with the rebuild. And as you can see here, the rear wheel has been mounted with a new tire. The rear brake system has been fitted as well, and we're currently bleeding the system to finalize that. And we will now continue with fitting the exhaust system. So here you can see the exhaust system now fitted. Newly chromed exhaust headers and balance pipe, all original, fitted to this bike, as well as a Conti exhaust mufflers that are ceramically coated in black. Now you might wonder why this bike has black exhaust mufflers, as most of these Contis were actually chrome plated. But as you can see here, we have here a article of a motorcycle magazine called Motorcycle Weekly, UK issue of October 1979, where this very bike is featured. And we know that because the registration, you see here the NMA IV is with the bike still. So this is the actual bike that we have here that was featured back in 1979 in this magazine. And as you can see, it already has black exhaust. And after some further research, we found out that Conti did supply a number of black exhaust mufflers instead of the usual chrome ones, which this bike was originally fitted with. So with the restoration of this bike, we took care of making sure that the bike was in the way it was presented here in this magazine when it was brand new. Here you can see the other side, again the mufflers, the headers newly chromed, also the balance pipe, all original parts, as well as the ceramic coated exhaust muffler. Now we also went a little further and fitted the fuel tank, still in its original paint. We need to polish a little bit, we'll do later on, but that is good to go. Obviously it needs the cover to make it a Mike Hailwood replica, and some other minor things to do before we can move on and try to get a tune out of this engine for the first time in many years. So stay tuned. So we're now finished with the build. Time to go into the next stage, which is the testing and adjusting. So let's first see if this bike will actually run. It has been on this workbench for the complete process of this restoration, but we're now going to take it off and see what will happen next. So with that done, we can see the engine was running and running perfectly, in fact. Made some further checks after the initial run and made sure that the oil was going to the right places in the correct amount, which was all good. You also saw me checking the voltage on the battery and if we were getting a charge, which we were, so that's good again. We fitted our test battery for now. But given the fact that this bike will be so original, we will fit a Yuasa lead acid battery as it is revealed without a side cover on this particular model. So like I said, we're very pleased with the results so far. Looking very good, and we're about to move to next stages with this bike, getting it on the road. Problem still is the front tire that we're still waiting for. For some reason Dunlop is unable to supply us with a correct size front tire, but hopefully that will be done. Otherwise we'll get another wheel of another bike for the test stage, so we can at least go on with the project and not have to wait on this particular tire, which is a little bit crazy, of course. But still, for now, it is on its Speedline wheel with the original old Pirelli tire fitted, which is, well, it's very brittle, not very good for testing, I expect. So we now have the bike ready. Ready, in fact, as much as it can possibly be. There still needs to be some road testing to do with this bike, but for now we have completed the build, at least. As you can see, we have finally received that front tire we have ordered for quite a long time, fitted to the newly supplied original Campagnolo wheel. This bike originally came with Speedline wheels, as you saw in an earlier video, which will be kept with the bike with the Pirelli tires, original Pirelli tires fitted. But these are dangerous and we're not going to use them, which is why we supplied these newly painted Campagnolos. We have fitted the original fairing, which had a lot of quite a big part here was missing when we first started the restoration, which wasn't featured in the video, but we'll include some pictures of the work that was done there. But of course that has been newly painted, as well as the rest of the bike. Original screen still fitted with some stickers on it indicating that it had been on the Isle of Man in 1982, as you can see, with the motorcycle news, and even the fuel tank was inspected at that event. So that concludes at least the build. And well, there might be some features that we are going to dive in a little bit deeper, as you can see, because this bike is hugely original. I can add to that. Like I said, it's the original screen, the original fairing. In fact, all of the parts that are on the bike are original, up to the fuel lines even are original. And that is something that's quite remarkable, because you have to remember this bike is more than 40 years old now. To have all these parts still fitted and in good condition is something quite unique. What else can we tell about this in this process is that during the restoration of the engine, we had to cut the original engine seal. And we always make sure that the original engine seal is kept with the bike, and a document is made to indicate on what date and how it was actually cut to open it. So that is another indication of how original this bike was. Further to that, it is being one of the first 200 bikes made, the 200 replicas made. It also came with a certificate, as you can see here, indicating the engine and frame number. It's the original certificate supplied with this bike. So again, it is something quite remarkable to have it still in this original condition. And then finally, there is also, you saw that in an earlier video as well, there is this article in Motorcycle Weekly issue of 27th of October 1979. And that features this very bike. One thing we would like, as you can see, we only have a copy of the original article. And I would like to ask if anyone has the original issue, because we would certainly want to buy that, to have the original issue of Motorcycle Weekly, dated 27 October 1979, in which this very bike is featured. We'll be very keen, and I'm sure the owner as well would be very keen to have that issue of that magazine present to be kept with the bike. Instead or complementary to this set of copies that we have. The bike has been supplied originally to the UK, as many of these early 200 bikes were. And you can see in the article it had the registration. It still has to this very day. And that is why we also supplied a new number plate through a British contact of ours who supplied this beautifully made new number plate to go with the bike. Now it has, our client is from Australia, so the bike will go down under where it will receive Australian registration, obviously, but at least then the original registration and the number plate can be kept as a part of the bike's history, even if it goes to Australia. So a beautiful spot for to have a stopover and see the bike for what it is. Now completely finished, of course. Beautiful bike to drive. It's effectively, as we talked about before, it's a 900 Super Sport with some different dress on and in a different color. And you will notice that with the driving as well, it very much handles like a Super Sport does, the 900 Super Sport bevel drive on which it is based. The only difference is, of course, the huge fairing that is fitted to this model. Apart from it not having the same ground clearance as a 900 Super Sport has, a lot of the noise becomes resonating when you just sit just above where the fairing is fitted. So there's some extra noise involved while driving this bike compared to the 900 Super Sport. But other than that, it's the same sort of experience that you can expect. Well, of all Ducatis, sharp steering, of course, great suspension, great brakes, by the way. Especially back in those days, the brakes were absolutely something that stood out compared to many other bikes that were available. Power output of these 900cc bevel drive engines, of course, beautiful 40mm carburetors. That does not make it a very easy to live with bike in inner cities or at slow pace, because it really wants to, well, you need to open the throttle for the bike to actually come in its element, so to speak. So now driving perfectly. We are actually done now with the adjustments. All the settings are all fine and good. So this bike is ready. So, another restoration finished, another great bike, great driving, adjusted very well, all 100%. Nothing else is to do on this project, which means that it is finished. It is good to go to its owner all the way down in Australia. So that was the next job on this bike, is actually crate it and ship it all the way down there. For us, this is another project done. The first of the Real 200 series Mike Hailwood replicas of 1979, and also the first restoration we do on this particular model. We have done some other restorations on Mike Hailwood replicas over the past, but this is the first one in this category. Probably more to come. Definitely working on other projects, so be sure to follow us on our YouTube channel, as there will be tons of videos uploaded there. So hope you liked this video. Thank you very much for watching. Toodle-dokie, see you next time.